To start this, to everybody, we have a special guest on the channel today. This is Amanda. If everybody coming in could please make sure that they like this video, it really, really, really helps out the channel. And if you get value from today's video, please subscribe in. There's going to be plenty more content like this to come. And you want to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you can stay plugged in and stay in tune. Okay, so that's all I needed to say. Dude, who the fuck are you? Who is Amanda? Who are you? Where are you from? What's up?
Who is Amanda? I'm from Florida, the Fort Walton Beach, Emerald Coast area. I've lived here, born and raised my whole life. There was a period of time where I lived down south in Orlando after I graduated. But I'm right around like the Destin, Emerald Coast area of Florida. And so born and raised in this little community of mine.
Is it little where
and
you live, or are you in the city?
I mean, for me personally, I mean, it's not like your metropolitan area. It's not like Atlanta, but for me, it's grown so much on the rental market industry where there's a lot of, I mean, given that we live so close to the beaches, there's a lot of traffic and tourism that runs through here. And so for me personally, I believe it's a bigger city, but it is a small town city vibe when you've lived here for 40 years, you know what I mean?
So you're 40?
I don't know why it's glitching on my Yes, I am 40. I turned 40 last year. I'll be 41 in October.
Well, happy early birthday.
Thanks, girl.
All
October
right.
23rd. October
Scorpio?
23rd. Right there on the cusp between Scorpio and Libra. Like, I know with reading the horoscope, some, like, depending on the dates, it'll fall between the Libra and it'll fall between the Scorpio. And I have a 17-year-old. I try to keep, when I talk about me, I try to keep the duality with privacy when it comes to speaking about him, speaking about the circumstances, speaking about my family and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm an open book to keep it private when it comes to, but yes, I have a 17-year-old and he's in high school right now. He's graduating next year. It's been a long road, no doubt.
Perfect. Not perfect that it's been a long road, but like perfect intro. So let's
Well,
get to the nitty gritty, dude. Or go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, in reference to the long road in the school system, I'm sure there's probably a lot of parents out there that can relate when it comes to the mechanisms of the school systems. If you have a child that's like a little bit maybe more hyper, maybe a little ADHD, doesn't fit in that little box that they create, there comes with a little bit of kickback when it comes to between teachers and all this stuff. And so
I'm going through that too
um yeah,
with my
but
little boy.
I have learned in the years with fighting the system, it's giving me a trait within myself of learning how to advocate, right? Because you advocate for your kid no matter what. It's just like ingrained in your body as a parent, right? You go like through and through, don't matter. But you look at the side, like my son's definitely not perfect. There's no perfect kid, there's no perfect parent, right? And so, but I mean, my son, I've had to get in front of school board. When he was 3rd grade, he was expelled for bringing a pocket knife to school, so I had to homeschool him. Um, we've went through oh, man, I didn't mean to put that out live, shoot, he's gonna kill me. I need to stop. Anywho, let's carry on.
Okay. Dude, I have a card in a deck.
Okay.
And on this card it
Mhm.
literally and I know that this is different with your kid because it's your kid, but is it? Anyway, I just want to tell you it and then we'll carry on, but it says that the emotional reaction or the emotional response that comes from another person's body from you speaking your truth is not your responsibility to carry. So
Yeah, I
just
agree
for
with that.
reference for later, for anything that might come up that for you to reference back to.
I'm glad that you said that because that's something that I've been working with God in that duality within me. because I've always carried such a understanding of knowing what other people battle behind the skin, behind their heart, behind their mind that they don't even say out loud. It always has come with me to have a diplomatic way to approach conversations and things like that. You know what I mean? And so I struggle with that a lot when it comes to me speaking my truth, speaking things that I've walked through, speaking with things because it's like I don't want to call people out, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's like without darkness, you wouldn't get to light. Without suffering, you wouldn't see the purpose. Without pain, you wouldn't get to power. Without, you know what I mean? And so walking through everything, it's kind of helped me cultivate all those things. But I'm glad that you said that. So I
Yeah,
hear
I think we
you.
all go through this at some level in our journey. Like for me, it comes to sharing experiences with the father of my children. The last thing that I ever want is to embarrass him or have other people judge or shame him. But things that happen between us are a part of my truth, a part of my story, a part of what I went through to become this version of myself. And it
Right.
took me some time to realize and accept that it's not my fault if he cannot speak or stand in his truth. That's on him. So, but it wasn't always that way. It was really hard in the beginning. And then, like Ashley, my friend Ashley Gaffey, has that when it
Mhm.
comes to her own mother and things that she
Mhm.
went through in her childhood. And, being open and honest, it really hurts and offends other people, but it only offends those that can't speak their
Mhm.
truths.
Exactly. I feel
So,
like when you start speaking your truths and you start saying out loud things that you bottle inside, you're freeing yourself
great.
from the bondage and from the chains that the conditionings of the world put us in, right? And so it's really hard and difficult not only for the person walking in their truths and walking in their authenticity because you get darts and swords getting thrown at you from all different angles, but also from the fact of those living in not freedom because they're scared to speak their truths. They're scared to own their flaws. They're scared to own the unfavorable seasons, the scars, the addictions, the you know put in the blanks, because we all have different paths, we all have different things that we've walked through. And so it's I think the way for the new world in reference to like God's eyes and source and the most high is like he just wants people to be authentically themselves, which means owning your truth, owning your story. And whether when you tell your story it shows unfavorable things about other people, but if those people shared their stories, they would share things that were unfavorable about other people. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that you've walked through unfavorably creates the person that you're becoming, which is ordained by God, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
How
So
far do you want to I don't know what I want to how I want to say this. So, we
I think I
brought
know
you
what you
on here
mean.
to speak your story. Where do you want to start with it?
um well, really, I guess I want golly, that's loaded.
So, let me
I can
let
I
me
guess
just say my big thing here with my channel, Amanda, is
Mhm.
YouTube is a search engine. And I don't know
Mhm.
if you have ever searched on Google the word gang stalking and seen the
Mhm.
disgusting definition of it that it gives. So, the whole point of my channel and bringing on people to share their stories and their experiences being targeted is so when other people are searching for the answers of what they're experiencing, they have the truth. So,
Okay.
whatever with that, um, if you wanted to be a voice or a light for anybody else based on your story and your experiences, whatever you're comfortable, open, or able to share based on your current situation.
So, I think what I will do is start from when I noticed that I was being targeted or
Beautiful.
gang stalked. I don't know what we're allowed to say on YouTube or, if we have to use abbreviations or
As
things like
far as
that.
I know, we're good, but just to be safe, be mindful. But
Okay. I'll kind of carry the same TikTok vibe.
okay.
To err on the side of caution, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so for me personally, Like, I recognized that my life around me as I knew it wasn't really my life, right? I was in a industry, I was a property manager. I started in property management in 2015 for a company, a local property management company. All right. And I had no intentions on doing property management. At the time, I went into property management because my son was running into a lot of issues. And where I was working at another property management company, I was working the front desk guest services, and so I had to work nights and weekends, right? And so I needed to find a Monday through Friday 9 to 5er type deal, right? And so a friend sent me this like marketplace ad type thing. And so, anyways, long story short, I got linked up with this company and I started there, I think it was roughly around April 2015. And I worked there from April 2015 through October 2023 when I resigned. And there, so during that time span from 2015 to 2023, the company prominently grew pretty vastly, pretty quickly when it came to the abundance of properties being added, not to mention during 2019 and 2020 during COVID. There was a lot of properties flying being added because what you're seeing is short-term properties weren't bringing any income because everything was shut down. So they were then moving it over to long-term, and so there was just flying properties. And the magnitude of the job versus me being a single parent, because I've raised my son, solo. Now I've had my family and they've helped me in different ways, but it's always been me being mom and dad. Um, and he did travel soccer. I always tried to keep him in sports just to keep the edge of him staying straight lined as possibly as I could, you know what I mean? And so the magnitude of the growing, like by the end when I left there was like roughly around 390 properties, and I only had one other person working in my office. You know what I mean? I was working just, I mean, 24/7, girl. You know when you get sucked into a career field and it takes your identity.
That
You
happened
know
to
what I'm
me in my
saying?
retail job. So yeah, I totally get
And
it.
and it's like the identity you always, for me personally, I feel like when you're born, your soul carries an identity that's always going to run straight into you, right? So if you get linked up with an industry that just doesn't ride with you, like I don't care what anybody, when you're in a property management industry, you have to think on the fly, you have to clean up, you have to CYA, you have to white lie, and it's just all a part of it, right? That's how it works in the property management industry because you got to keep the owner happy, you got to keep the tenant happy, and I mean, you're just it's literally just moving rocks and angles to keep things at bay, right? And you have to think when you do that 24/7 for, how many years I was there, you lose sense of self, right? And you're pulled in so many different directions. So many different directions, girl. I can't even put into words. It's mind-boggling to me to look back from when I resigned to where I'm at now, and I'm just like, golly, it's intense. It's crazy. But at the time in October 2023, I could tell there was like 6 months, probably 7 months before I resigned that things were just weird. Weird. From the mannerisms, the questions, the events, just this transpiring of things around me, the auras, the energies. And it's like I was battling an addiction at that time. Unfortunately, when you go through different seasons of life and you have the pressures of the world, we tend to lean to addictions, which is what I picked up in my previous marriage. I got divorced in 2019 as well, so I had all that wrapped up into it too. And I could just tell inside, like there was just like this inner voice of me, like something's not right. Like why are they asking these questions that have nothing to do with me? Why do I keep replaying and like having these little tactics and things set up when it just didn't make sense, all right? And then it got to the point where I literally knew that if I didn't like quit, I was going to die. Like, you get to that place in life where you're just like you have nothing else to give. when it comes to your job, it comes to your family, it comes to every facet of life, because everything around you is sucking the energy out of you, and you get so depleted that you have nothing else to give. Like, you can't give something you don't have, especially when you don't have control of it, right? And so when I resigned in 2023, the correspondence of the events were just freaking bizarre. And I requested the Family Leave Act, but I never got a response. As soon as I resigned, my email got taken away from me, and all of those have been removed from my phone. All of the screenshots that I saved, my emails, everything. But there, I would say the last like 6 months before that, I just felt something was off. So when I resigned, I had a 2-year non compete. All right. 2-year non compete. I could
What
not
does
do the
that mean?
same. So that means that essentially if I did anything in the real estate, property management, short term, or leasing, they could fine me up to $50,000 for 2 years if I did it within two counties, which is Okaloosa and Walton.
Of a different company.
Exactly. That's why I
So
have.
for 2 years after you resigned, you are not allowed to do any type of property management, real estate for anybody else within 2 counties of where
Yeah,
you're at.
the county I
Okay.
was yeah, the county I was living in, and then the county right next to it. So that's why in return I ended up going to get another property management job in March last year, in Panama City, which is 3 counties away, right? And I ran into the same thing there. I ran into the same thing there with manipulation, coercion, gaslighting, toxicity, things just not making sense, accounting being bucked, like just the whole scenario. It was the exact same color that I left, right? And I'm like, this isn't normal. This is not normal behavior. This is not a normal life. So like rewind when I resigned in October 2023, it's like from that moment forward, my life has been completely ripped upside down. Now, do I recognize that it goes beyond that, further past that? Absolutely. Have I connected dots with God? Absolutely. But that's the moment 6 months prior, I'd say 5 to 6 months prior to when I actually resigned, is to when I recognize that, like, okay, something inside of me, higher than me, is telling me that something's not normal. Like, something happening around me is not normal, right? And when I resigned, I went in that next day to have a conversation with the owner of the company. And it was a 5 hour conversation. Now, mind you, I worked there for over 8, almost 9 years. Me getting him on the phone, getting a text response was very difficult. So it's ironic to be able to have 5 hours, you know what I mean, of undivided attention. And in that conversation, it was basically said that my son was going to quit soccer. I was going to move into one of his rental properties. He was going to pay $17,000 off my debt. We were going to sell my car, and I would drive one of his cars. Um, I mean, it's crazy to say out loud, you know what I mean? My son called me during the time that I was in the discussion with him, and I didn't answer it. I didn't answer it because my family was a little concerned because I was there so long. Never did I ever think I would be there for 5 years having a conversation. I could barely get 10 minutes out of them, you know what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
was weird. So my son called me, and I didn't answer it, and this is what really broke it for me, honestly. He's like, call him back on your phone. So I did. Again, I was so broken and unhealed. I had no voice. I had no strength. I had nothing. I was so depleted by the toxicity in the environment. You know what I mean?
Sure do. Oh boy, I
And
resonate.
and so it's like they knew that. I'm gonna try really hard not to get upset. So, anyways, I called him, my son, and he took the phone. It was on speaker. And here I am sitting in this office, like you could just tell that I'm dying. There's no way that you couldn't have tell, right? And I'm crying out for help. And you're sitting here dictating my life like you have been the last 8 years, essentially. And then you get on the phone with my son and you tell him he's breaking my back. I'm out here breaking my back and he needs to quit soccer and he needs to get a job. I bought my son a suit that I couldn't afford because homecoming was around the corner. He told my son he needed to take the suit back. I'm sitting here, you know,
Your
girl,
boss did this.
yeah. hmm And at the end of all that, and again, it was 5 hours of just craziness, craziness. At the end of it, he calls in the coworker that was driving his other car at the time. So make it fit where it fits, right? My infamous coworker that he brought in to work for me. That's really when all the problems started, to be quite frank. Um, and then called her in the office and was like, "This is what we went over." So this is a coworker that I'm supposed to be a manager of, superior. He then tells her everything in reference to where I'm going to live, how much I'm going to pay. I'm like, this is exactly a part of the manipulation that has created me where I'm at, where I'm nearly about to, like, just at this point die.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when I got home, then I get a phone call after I've already had this conversation with him on multiple occasions talking about accounting and limited liability insurance fees and all this crap. When I don't deal with accounting, I don't deal with the fees, I don't deal with that. They have an accountant. Okay, they have an accountant company, they have a consultant company, they have all these different companies. They stack a stack. And so I get home and they call me and they ask me the same question. I'm like, why are you asking me this? I've already told you I don't know. Ask so and so. That's who handles it. Right. And then so I sent a text and I was like, look, I'm going to keep my resignation in. I'm going to keep it in. And then after talking to another coworker that used to work with us, she's like, why don't you request a family leave act? Why don't you take time? And I looked up the Family Leave Act, and so I sent an email and a text regarding that, and then never heard anything back. And then he sent me an email, but in the email and the text that he sent me, there was lies that he was saying that he said and did. And I'm like, no, 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 you didn't do that. That's not what you said. You didn't. And so in my responses, I made sure to clear those up in my emails. I made sure to clear those up. Like, you didn't do this, you didn't say that. We need to, like, and those are all the ones missing. So, needless to say, looking back, I thank God and praise God every day because I felt so suffocated that entire time that I was there. And now realizing that there were so many people siphoning off my energy, and I take ownership in that. You know what I'm saying? I do. And that's the thing is, like, I'm at a place in my life now where it's like, I forgive, I've healed, but since that moment, my family, my son, my jobs, I've lost all my friends. Um, the amount of craziness that follows me is absolutely insanity, right? I mean, my in different ways, I know without a doubt, my entire community in different ways knows about it and is involved in different ways. The company and the positioning of who they are very prominent, you know what I mean?
And
And
this was
so,
October 2023 when you resigned, and things got
mm,
super weird. And we are now
mhm,
almost 2 years later in 2025, almost 2 years of nonstop chaos and hell.
hell, literally. They've used my son against me in so many ways. That's the worst part. Like, I can deal with the rest of the stuff, quite frankly. I could deal with that. I'm telling you, when I'm telling you, the only reason why I'm here is because of God. I'm not even kidding you. Like, when I worked at my last property management company and I got close with my manager and the guy that worked there, I knew. Like, you can just read people. When you're being authentic and you're being pure and you're being genuine, it's very and they're being deceptive. I don't understand why people don't understand that, right? When you're being genuine and true to who you are and you're walking in your truths and you have nothing to hide, it's very easy to pick up on when people are being not genuine to
They
you,
know that.
right?
That's why they're threatened by you. because they know you
I
can see
know.
through them. They know you're going to expose their darkness, and that's why they demonize you, scapegoat you, project everything onto you, and completely discredit you so that you can't ever expose any of these people.
I know. I I so I worked at when I went back and I went into property management again because I you have to go where you can make a living. You know what I mean? Um and so after I resigned, I got a job at a local restaurant doing hostessing and working at a department store, which is where I work at now. And I worked there from November 2023 to March 2024. And then a previous not colleague, but a previous correspondents that I met in property management in my local community just so happened to reach out to me because Lord knows floodgates open, when the narrative started spinning, you know what I mean? And so she had called me and told me that there was a company that she has a friend, so and so and so and so, you should give them a call. So, long story short, I got a job at another property management company. Um,
Is this the
and I
second
work
one or the third one?
second one, I've only worked
Okay.
at 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So you
this is the one that
resigned,
I
and then in March
mhm.
2024 was when you got this new job.
Yeah, and that
Sorry,
was
I was just
in
trying to keep up with the time frame.
n
My bad. Go ahead.
yeah, you no, 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 you're totally fine. And that gave me from November, December, January, February to kind of rebuild my mind and get prepared to go back into the industry the way I wanted to, right? And understanding my morals, my values, my ethics, and standing on that, right? And so I feel like I'm kind of rambling too. Do we need to do some
Nope.
interaction?
Nope, you're good. You're
Okay.
good. I was just saying hi to them in the chat. You're
Oh,
great.
okay.
Keep going.
Um, and so I started working for that company and it started out well, and in the beginning it was really well and I was really excited. There was a lot of like promises, a lot of, things like that. Fast forward to like August, September, it just I could just the reality of the illusions that were set forth in front of me began to become so obvious with the constant management changes. They're like I went through, I don't know, I think three managers at the 6 months that I was there. Um, the residents, and then it just the first and the end of every month, I would end up being in an office. Now, mind you, this is a 500 unit, right? Like you don't first of the month, the end of the month, those are like the busiest months. You know what I mean? And so I could pick up on the manipulation. I could pick up on the toxicity. I could pick up on the eyes. I could pick up on just well, not to mention the way that they did their accounting, just like the other company did. There's always loopholes, and then they find it. And it's just like you have to get to a place in your duality within yourself, like what you stand on. And so I resigned from them in September because it just got to be too much. I'm literally reliving the same thing differently in a different county. I've now taken the same beatings and decided to go ahead and add a 3-hour commute to my day. You know what I mean? And so I resigned, and then it took me I didn't have a job for about a month. I've applied for so many jobs and I get no bites unless they're not ethically inclined. Like it's really easy to pick up on ethics when you just you can pick up around you. Like I recognize that the magnitude of what follows me, right? In reference to so and so saying so and so and so and so doing so and so. And so because here we are going on 2 years and they're still doing the same tactics just to cover up whatever it is they were doing in the back. Right. And so it's just, I don't know the full scope of things, but I do know that it's extremely high. Right. Given the scope of just seeing what it's done to my family, like my family, I come from, good parents, but it's just different now. It's just different. My relationship with every single family member is different. Every single one. And I've not been able to you know, and I am blessed that they allow me to live in their house, right? But when you go from resigning to blacklisted, like my benefits have been completely demolished. Every appointment that I've went to in reference to like medical help, um, has been a shot in the dark. Got a shot in October. It was supposed to be a steroid shot for my asthma. I have an indention on my back. I've been to two orthopedics. I mean, it's just whew, sky's the limit, girlfriend. Sky's the limit, But I just know the reason why I'm here is because it's greater than me, right? And I see everything unfolding in the broader scale of mask falling in reference to those waking up to the reality of how embedded it is, and recognizing that it's all entangled in different ways, if that makes sense.
Oh boy, it makes sense. So
Oh boy.
I think like the biggest thing that stood out to me when it came to them working you to death, I think that was all an intentional part of this organized crime and the targeting. So if anybody else who's actively targeted has experienced being overworked inside of your job, if you would like leave a comment because I would love to hear it. But I resonated to that so strongly. And it's intentional, right? They need to wear you down. They need to make everything way harder on you than it ever needs to be. And, I was carrying my job and everybody else's too. And I was
Exactly.
unhealed. I didn't have the balls. I was a manager myself, and I didn't
Hmm.
have the balls I wanted everybody to like
Stand up.
me, so
Exactly. Same with me. Hmm.
yep, and it kicked my freaking butt, but it's like they intentionally wouldn't do their jobs or wouldn't do them well. And then it all fell on my shoulders. And every morning I would get to work and have to close and open at the same time. And it became too much. I couldn't get my job done. And my 8-hour shifts were like 12, 14, 15-hour days every day. I'm getting my ass
Oh,
nailed for overtime, too many hours in the bakery. And like, everybody in the workplace was awful to me. Nobody supported me, nobody encouraged me. And looking back, I realized it's because they were all being to not, right? They
mm,
were all taking
mhm,
pay, and I didn't have the balls
mhm.
to do anything about it. I really deserved to leave the way that I did. I was not cut out for the job at the end of the day. But Uh, okay, I didn't deserve to go out the way that I did because I was set up and plotted against and whatever.
Mhm.
But as far as like being replaced and him needing to find somebody else, I respect that decision. I get it. But yeah, I think that was all intentional, dude, to completely break you down on purpose. And then it's been on from that point forward. When you're vulnerable and you're in this weakened state, they're like, okay, now we can start attacking her with her child, with her friends, her relationships, her family dynamic. Now we can really get in there and completely isolate her and fuck her up.
I know, and I have to say that, for so as soon as we moved to a different office, they immediately changed me to salary. Go
In
figure.
company one, the first
So,
company,
uh-huh. Yeah, so I was on call 24/7. 24/7, on call 24/7. I mean, to this day I still have some owners that reach out to me from time to time. I still get emails from um different vendors and contractors because here's another clincher. I never got a work phone. I had to use my personal phone, right? And so they wanted my phone number. They tried to buy me a new phone and take my phone number. And thankfully for the friendship that I had at that time, she was like, "Don't give him your number." I'm like, "Yeah," because I was going to, because I'm like, "What came through?" And why is it my job to do all those due diligence? It's not my job to do all those due diligence. It's your job to be an ethical company and ran properly and take care of your employees. And that's why I give so much grace, because had I not been isolated, had I not walked through everything that I've walked through, I wouldn't have heal through the ventures that I needed to heal through. Like, why was I allowing them to make me feel like a doormat? Why was I allowing them to siphon my energy when I knew what they were doing wasn't right? Why was I continually going against my inner knowing and my higher self, which knew what was happening the whole time, because I was allowing them to dictate how I felt because their validation meant more than my own validation within myself. And so, had I not walked through all these different ventures and all these different plots and schemes and everything like that, I wouldn't have learned the things that I needed to learn based off the things that have been so graciously sent to me. But also, I do believe that God truly divinely orchestrates everything in divine timing. And because God knows in so much a part of every facet of this world, whether people believe or not, it doesn't take away the fact that he exists, right? And that he knows. Like, you don't have to believe, you don't have to go to church. You can go to church or you don't. But at the end of the day, he still knows, right? He knows what you do behind doors. He knows what you think in your head, whether you say it out loud, right? And because he is so much ingrained in the world, I believe that God makes different moves like this because he knew my heart, he knew your heart, and he knew how the entire thing would unravel in reference to the playing of the games, the tactics, manipulation, the targeting, the retaliation, the unethicalness. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, there's different programs and elites and this and that, but that can only get you so far. You can't run from your dark soul, it's still inside of you,
Ooh,
right?
that was golden. That was good. You can't run from
Yeah.
yourself. It lives in you. That was a powerful statement right there. Come through,
I
God.
had to I had to learn that. I had to learn that too, and when I went through all of that, I learned that, that
Let's just
I would
quote this. What's the date
okay,
today? July what?
July 18th.
So Friday, July 18th at 1:06 p.m. Central Standard Time, Amanda Scooler was the first person to say that you cannot run from your own dark soul. It's inside of you. If anybody wants to take that line as their own, it is documented and stated here. That's yours. And that was fire. I know how they do you. So we gonna put that out and date and timestamp it right now. That was good. That needs to be in a book. That
Dang.
was fire. That was good. In case you see anybody putting that shit in a song or some shit. I do. That's why he said it. We're going to timestamp it right now. And I will clip this and give it to
You
you
know,
so you have it.
I appreciate it. You know what's so great too about me, um, and the beauty of it is because we have such a world that runs on um copycatting, not being authentic, stealing ideas, just like we're discussing now. When you become one with yourself, to me personally, and see, that's again why I'm so ingrained with God. Like, I know, and this is something that you taught me, like, rejection is protection and all in divine timing, right? And so, if it's best for other people to run and take my ideas and spin it, then God's allowing them to do that for a reason. And I know that within my heart. And so, because I know that, it doesn't bother me. You know what
Yeah,
I
it's
mean?
like it's
Be-
just saving the best ideas for the last. Let them take the little ones because the big one,
right.
they're going to already have so much karma over them and all this stuff that the big one is yours and can't nobody touch it.
Right. And then also, I do believe that when you continually to take, siphon, steal, copycat, eventually it wears on your soul. It wears on your soul. And then they wonder why the karma that they're walking through. But it's like, well, look at your lifestyle. Look at your choices. You're literally living a life that's stealing from other people instead of looking at the beauty that is within you. And so God is using me and everybody else
Slow and steady wins the race.
if he had shown me everything that was transpiring around me in the last decade of my life all at once, I would have taken my life. I mean, that's
Yes.
just straight facts. And he has so graciously helped me peel back the onion layers in the way that he knew my heart needed it. And just like he does that for everybody, because at the end of the day, he still knows your heart. Even if you're the one on the stage singing the gospel, right? But still not living by the gospel. There's a difference. You can sing, you can preach, but what does your heart look like? Right. And I think a lot of the times people, say one thing, but they're not abiding by that. And that's
Right.
that's the contrary of it. You know what I mean? So that duality that you just allow people space to walk that path with God. Because it's just not something that you can show them. They have to see it on their own. I'm learning that I can't save everybody. That's been a hard truth for me, you know?
Yeah.
That's been a really hard truth
It's
for me
not your
because I do want to save
responsibility to
everybody.
save anyone, sis. It's like
I
you're
know.
meant to inspire people to save themselves.
I know. It's so hard though
Things
because
are really
like I
going to clean up in your family. I'm just, based on my own experience, once you get all the truth, all the clarity, all the puzzle pieces come out, like your relationship with your son is going to mend perfectly. Perfectly. And like he's being so traumatized through a 111 on the time.
I
Anyways,
know
he's
he
being
really
so
is.
traumatized through all of this. And it's the most angering, frustrating thing when they involve innocent children. They don't
That
care.
part.
That's how you can just tell this is demonic. There's no, and they will hurt and harm and traumatize whoever they have to, I don't even know the word. Um,
To stay
God,
clean
I was
from the
gonna say
public
like with
eye.
the target to like I wanted to say there's that word when like a cop takes a life of somebody. There's like a specific word they use for it, and that's
Oh,
what I want to say, but I don't know what the word is. But their target to complete their mission with their target, right? They'll do whatever they have to do, and it's so pure evil. But
it is. That was such a hard thing for me. I still struggle with it to
it's
recognize
gonna
that there
mend.
is such pure evil. It is. Well, and I walk by faith in knowing that. And I just give so much grace to God because of the heart that I do carry. It's very easy for me to just, I've become so conditioned in a version of us. We are also committed to of that whole duality between light and dark and just the conditionings of the world. And so God has really helped me in the last couple weeks just hone in on that because that's been really, really difficult for me in my community. Just because I've lived here my whole life. I mean, there's not a day that doesn't go by where I don't have a blast from the past, and it's really awkward. You know what I mean? When it comes to having people have surface level conversations with you, but they know that you've been done dirty or, whatever XYZ. And so it's really peculiar because it's like, golly, why are we all just going to continue going along with this? You know what I mean? And so it's a very weird circumstance in my little community that I live in, no doubt. But then I think about other individuals that are TI'd, such as yourself, and like you went through the same crap. And so that's another thing that came to me. Until you walk through your trials and your tribulations, you don't recognize the magnitude and the grossness that's in the world, but God sees you to walk through these circumstances. So then that you learn, like, I had no idea people were going through what you went through. None. In my little world as I was like a worker bee. You know what I mean? And it's like when did your TI start or whatever?
I noticed it in 2022. Really started
Eh,
noticing things around like June of that year. But I mean, looking back and reflecting, it's always been there. Oh, so much. I see it all so clearly now. But
I know
2022
I
was the worst year of my entire life. It was hell, start to finish, beginning to end, hell. Every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Not a second of peace, not a second of relief. The pressure was on all year.
that was for me 2023 and 2024. And when I resigned from my last property management company in September is when I just cut off all communication from my friends, acquaintances, everything, and just completely went in and did my ego death, my dark shadows, my dark night of the soul with God. And it was the most gruesome, but the most powerful time in my life that I will ever go through. And I can't wait to literally, I got, there's things that I'm working on, not to put it all out there, but there's things that I'm working on in reference to that like 3 months period. I mean, there was nights where I couldn't, I would cry so hard I couldn't breathe.
Yep.
Like I just when you when you recognize everything in your life is deception and betrayal,
Fucking lie.
but
Yep.
in a lie, but then on the other side of the fence, you love them so much, and it's like trying to get your heart to see what your mind knows is the hardest thing for a child of God, a chosen one might say, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
I do.
that was the biggest thing for me was my mind knew it. My mind's known it, right? For years
But you
upon
didn't
years.
want
I
to
mean,
believe what you've seen because you loved. And the
exactly.
lesson
Yeah,
is see people for who they are, not who you want them to be.
right. Like even my previous, relationship, and you and I have talked about that, how much that's entangled, girl. And him and I have been on and off since I was 17, and they have so horrible like use that against me to just like completely rip out my heart. Completely rip out my heart for the world and my community to see as if it's like freaking entertainment. And it's like, what the freak is wrong with you people? You're painting me as a bad person, but you're literally cooperating tactics in front of the world to get somebody to literally like or make them feel less than what they are, but then you want to paint me to be out the evil villain? Are you freaking like, ooh, the jets are flying right now. But anyways, we can leave that there. I don't want to unpack that too much.
I
You
get
know
you.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like where you're having to learn, literally having to learn how to not give a fuck what people think about you, and you don't have a choice. You just
No,
don't have a
there's no
choice
choice.
because no matter what you do, and it's like the lesson, but no matter how much love you give, how hard you ride for people, how much compassion and empathy you show, when you lack boundaries and love for self, none of it matters because
None
people
of it.
will attack you, target you, smear campaign you, project onto you, and everybody will believe it, dude. And it's literally the manifestation of lack within self, relying on that external validation, and then your reality mirroring that back to you. It's like when you're not showing yourself love, the world outside can't show you any love either. Love, respect, self worth. Nobody will value you. Nobody will respect you. Nobody will love you if you don't do it inside first. So you go through this pure hell. It's hell. hell on earth.
H literally,
And then you
literally.
have to learn how
I
to be
went
your own best friend, your biggest support system. Like you're all you have in that situation. And that's where it becomes so life changing because you're healing yourself from the inside out, which allows your
out
reality outside to completely shift in your favor.
completely, and it's like you can literally live in hell, in chaos, in manipulation, but move by your higher self leading you through it.
Yep.
And that's where, essentially, to be quite honest, I feel like the more people that learn that is the more that we will be able to start creating the new earth, right?
Yep.
Because there's things outside of our control. Clearly, that goes without saying. But what we do have control over is allowing our higher self to control our mind, to not buying in to all the things that's manipulated around us. Like I love what you said, learning. So before we started this, I put learning how to live when no one's around. Like that was a big transformation for me too. I've always been a people pleaser. I've
Me
always
too.
wanted to keep the peace. I did whatever I needed to do to stay away from confrontation, whether if it was for me to say sorry, even when I know I did nothing wrong. You know what I mean? Just to keep the peace. And I take ownership in that. But walking through everything that I have in the last 8 months in my isolation and hermit, learning how to live by myself and loving myself when no one's around. Like I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be so happy just like hanging out solo. Like I
Um,
preferred sometimes to be by myself because it's just I feel more at
That'll never change either, dude. Because like when you learn how to love your own company, it's fun. It like shut out. What did you say? I'm so sorry. It was like,
no, no, no. No, I know mine keeps freezing too. No, I was just saying, no, absolutely. Like I never the person that I am today and the person that I'm growing into by the grace of God, my highest self is like telling my lower self and my inner child, like like they're both connecting to each other and just like straight awe of the fact that we made it here together as one inner child and my higher self, and it's like finding that duality where your inner child works with both, but like, and I know talking to you, you get what I'm saying, right? It's just like I find myself so many times in awe of moments when, I mean, I see what's around me. I don't respond anymore. It just don't make no difference. This is my new life and this is what God has forged me to be, And so it's one of those things, I mean, we can keep playing it. It makes no difference to me.
they want
Um
that reaction, dude. And when they can't get it is when they'll start to back off probably soon. It gets a little heavier before it can get better, but when they can't get those reactions, they have to go back to the drawing board and try and map something else out, right?
right.
And then they get sloppy and really start exposing themselves, dude. And
I
you're
know,
at
I
that
feel
point.
that.
You're done. You're literally when we first started talking, like texting, you mentioned
Mhm.
something to me about like your resting and your healing. And I teach on this. And every one of us goes through this stage of you go through your initiation, which is hell, torture, torment, trauma, betrayal. You go through all of that shit and then you go into solitude. And that's where you heal. And God sits you down and
Mhm.
makes you heal from not just everything you went through, but your whole life of trauma. And you have to rest and
Whole
recover and rejuvenate because then you step into your purpose and you're going to be so thankful you took that time to recover from everything because when you're in purpose you're busy as shit and it does not slow down.
well, and I feel like too, I wanted to show you. I don't know if you saw that. So, I got my little deck and I play with it here and there. Dang it, I gotta find it. So my dog the other day, right? I made a video about this. I had my deck of cards on top of my counter, right? Um, and somehow some way my dog got the deck down and she literally got them out of the bag and she chewed up one card. You know what it was? The Hierophant.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna show you, and
What the hell is the
it was
sign of that? Why did she chew it up? Because everybody around you is trying to chew you up and spit you out, or what?
that's what I took from it. To be quite frank, from you. Here,
And the Hierophant card, obviously, the chosen one. Let's go. And it's the
yeah.
bottom too. It's like, read the reversal meaning of that to me.
Okay. Institutions, or no, that's upright. Sorry, but personal beliefs, freedom, going against the grain, unconfident, foolish, generosity, unconventional, fertility, unorthodox, hypocrisy, blind faith, and misconception. Reversed.
Shit.
I have,
Interesting.
I have, I know, I have no idea how she got it. I really don't. My dad brought it to me.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I want, yeah, you know, that said, but
That's really interesting.
yeah, I thought so too. You know, it came to me. You can't deny the truth when it's stamped, notarized, and filed by God.
Period.
And that's something that came to. Period.
This is
Period. Came
too
to
why
me, and
your
it was.
enemies and your ops are so doing the weird shit like they've been doing. Like the restaurant encounter, the weird
Mm-hmm.
things happening at work. This is them getting desperate because they didn't expect you to go into solitude. They didn't expect you to cut everybody off and start healing and working on yourself and cleaning up and healing. They didn't expect you to do any of the things that you have done. And now that your vibration is raising, your wounds are healing, they can't trigger you the way they used to. They can't get reactions out of you. And they're having a really hard time painting narratives about you because you're a completely
Mm-hmm.
transformed version of yourself. They can't
Mm-hmm.
overwork you so you're looking all drained and tired and fucked up, right? They can't do that anymore. So they're getting desperate, dude. They're just desperate.
Mm-hmm. I feel that tension and I feel that energy. You know, that's another thing that it's so funny. I do a lot of inner dialogue. You know, that's something that I've done my entire life because growing up, I was always misunderstood, maybe a little shushed. You know what I mean?
They do.
Um, And so I just learned to do a lot of inner thought, keep a lot of things to myself, and observe. Um, and I now realize that was all part of God too, training me for this purpose, because there's a lot of things I keep to myself, a lot of things that God and I discuss inside my head that I don't say out loud. I mean, because clearly I'm well aware, you know what I mean? What follows me. And I think that people need to understand that the thought process that we have inside our heads, because it's our thoughts, our thinking, right? And so much, so often enough, negative thoughts take over your mind. And when you allow negative thoughts to take over your mind, it takes you down negative roads. And truthfully, a lot of it is your ego and it's your flesh and it's your. Like that. It helps me look at things in a forgiving manner. And since I truly forgive, I don't carry those burdens, even when they're happening to me naturally daily. Like, because I see it, obviously. I mean, it's obvious, right? But because I'm continuously forgiving momentarily, like momentaneously all day, every day, continually. Because like I look at them like they not know no better, literally. And so because I carry that mind frame, it's like I just still walk light as a feather. I don't carry your burdens, although I know what's happening. I know what's going on. It still doesn't affect me because at the end of the day, it's not between you and me. It's between you and God. All I can do is walk to the best of my abilities. I'm freaking human. I'm not freaking. That's what I told my mom the other day after my dentist appointment. And anyways, I get so tired. I get so tired of that's why I'm so blessed for the community God's provided me with you and other people on TikTok and Facebook and I'm sure you could probably resonate with this where it gets difficult to have surface level when you're on a different vibration.
Just on
It
it,
gets
like
very
this topic of conversation, my mom is here with me now and she's staying with us.
Oh,
And,
okay.
I've been having a lot of issues with my phone. Again, out of nowhere,
Mhm.
all over again, my phone's been fucking fucked. And I was telling her
Mhm.
about it. I'm like, it's overheating, it's like robotic, it's nobody else's phone is doing that. My kids' phones are fine,
Mhm.
whatever. And she said it's because you use it all the time, which I could understand that to a certain extent, but it's like,
Right.
mom,
It didn't do that it didn't do that before.
mom. Like, and she just
Yeah.
doesn't see it, dude. She doesn't. I had a pan. She was cooking chicken one day, not that long ago, and the pan in the oven exploded, dude. Just a Pyrex pan. And I was like, it's witchcraft. She's like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. That glass took the
D-
hit, so I didn't have to. You know what I mean? And it's like she just
right.
doesn't
Right.
see what I see, or I've tried to show her photos,
Mhm.
and I can identify demonic shit in pictures like that. Quick, 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 and she just can't see it. And it's like, how do you not see this big ass demon face right here? How do you not see it? So I've
Do
had
you
to.
find
I can't
Mhm.
conversate with her about
Sorry.
this. I can't. Go ahead.
Do you find yourself though? Do you find yourself questioning is it that they can't see it or that they're a part of it?
I don't think my mom is. She could be, but I don't think so.
Yeah. It's just a
At
matter
this
of
point,
naturally.
At this point, I don't think so. They did a great job separating me from my family. So, like,
Yeah. See,
I don't know. Other than that, like those conversations, that's it. There's no tension between my mom and I. No, I don't get like bad vibes or any of. I don't get the vibe that she's like involved or participating in anything. She just can't. She doesn't resonate to it. She's not going to get it, dude. You know what I mean? So, just that kind of a thing.
well, it's really difficult given the conditionings of the world to kind of until you've been so graciously TI'd. I mean, and again, I can't speak on behalf of everybody TI'd, but I know for me, you have to find that inner knowing within yourself, your discernment and your intuition. And I go really much again, like I struggle with um because I know the legalities and how high up it goes and how compelling stories can be perceived because they know how to provide compelling stories in a manipulated way because I dealt with it for years, right? So thank you for that, thing that they so graciously gave me because I can pick up on that. But because I recognize that when you have people that are low vibrational, like that in your family, previous loved ones, previous friendships, it's like they didn't really know no better, right? Like when they were provided compelling stories, provided payouts, vouchers, this and that, they really didn't. You know what I
But
mean? And so
would
it's
you?
like
I do have this question for you.
100%,
But would you?
100% no.
Would you
Hell
take
no.
fucking money to fuck somebody's
Fuck
life up?
no.
Or
Hell no. No.
that's where I
100% no.
really like,
I know. You're
they
right.
should know better, dude. They
I know you're
chose.
right.
They chose wrong. You know what I mean?
No,
I
you're
battle
right.
with that. Like people will say,
Yeah, I
hurt
know.
people, but we've been hurt
True.
and we were never, even when we had every right, we never
That's
were
so
out there
true.
fucking hurting people. We didn't seek
No.
revenge. We didn't retaliate. And I know that that's probably the difference between our souls and theirs. We are advanced. We are old. We are literal children of God, and it's
Mhm.
so different. But
It
hopefully,
is.
these people that don't know no better, or maybe they didn't realize the consequences of their actions, and that's why they needed to make these mistakes. I really have faith that a lot of people that did stupid things like taking payoffs and bribes and like one, I don't think that any of them realized the extent. I don't think anybody realized they were trying to take your life from you. I don't think they realized that
Right.
it goes that far or that deep, right? But
Mhm.
it's like the karma is going to be bad enough that hopefully their soul really learns the lesson and they will never do it again. Or the karma gets bad enough for them that they do turn to God. They do,
Mhm.
hopefully I have hope that there is that evolution inside of these people that don't know any better because the behavior is bullshit.
Mm, and that's the thing is I feel like God is using it in such a way for that,
Yeah.
right? And so because I know that and these are different dreams and confirmations that he shows me, but that's the other and I do because, like, man, I've not been a perfect person, clearly, you know what I'm saying? But,
Same.
man, I've always led with a very pure intentions
And
heart.
can
Like,
take
I have just
accountability. That's another thing. Yeah, I was a piece of shit at this
all
time in my life. I did these things. I apologize. I own it. I'll never do it again. And I grew.
right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing. And it's just like, it's just crazy to me because when it comes to money, money has never ruled me. That's why I'm in the position I'm at because I've just always freely just always given it. I mean, to this day, I still freely give it. You know what I
Same.
mean? Like I got
Mhm.
it. Right. And it's like, it's put me in a pickle. But then at the same time, it's like, God just, I mean, I just really feel like God connects with you and who you are. And if you're one of those people that overly give, now you're mean and they're the victim and it's like why don't you stand on your morals, your values, your 10 instead of worrying about if I'm mean or not, that I do
Because they
yours
can't
and then we'll
benefit from you anymore.
right. I
So now
know
you're the
it's
bad
our
guy
time,
because they no longer can benefit.
but we can all live in peace, but that's just not something they're striving for. I get that.
It's
Not
it's
at this.
that spiritual warfare. That it's We're literally in war here. We're in a battle.
I know
It's
we
literally
are,
good
we
versus
are.
evil out here, and that's why. And it's powers and principalities. So the thing is, you're right. When it comes to people not knowing any better, they don't. But where they fucked up is they kept themselves in such a low enough vibration that they allowed themselves to be open vessels for demons to take them over. And that's where they fucked
Yeah.
up. It's they're not connected to God and they really need to find God. Like that's the biggest problem. It's the lack of love. Like we hear people say all the time, what's wrong with people? They don't
Right.
love. They they
Right.
they don't love. I actually pulled a card, pulled cards.
Okay.
I was gonna end this with it, but did it come out? Oh yeah. All human behavior is either love or a call for love. So all these people that are out here doing all this evil shit, they
Ooh.
don't know what love is. They don't. They just do not know what love
Wow.
is at all. And then you come in to all of these people's lives and give it to them. And instead of appreciating it or valuing it, they get so envious and jealous and bitter because you're so rare and real and genuine. And when you give love unconditionally, you will get it back. You know what I mean? And they know that. If you love like this, then you can be loved too. And I think that's what stirs up a lot of envy in a lot of people. But yeah, I don't know,
I
just
would agree.
so low vibrational that they become open vessels for demons, dude.
They really well, and it's so funny that you golly, there was just thought that I just had when we were talking about love. Oh, I think that because I understand now the magnitude of how unique and different I am, right? Before I was always so ashamed of it. When I worked at my first property management company, and then my last one that I resigned from, They had me on 7 pills. I was taking depressants, antidepressants, and I was told that this is medication that CEOs and attorneys took, right? Um, I mean, I was so drugged. I didn't know what way I was going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was probably all a part of the plan and the program too.
Oh, I see that I've connected that dot, baby. Yep, couple of doctors. Yep, yep. Mhm. They know that too. So, but
The
that said,
Masonic energy that surrounds your story.
is insane.
It feels
Oh,
very
it's so in
Masonic with the courts and the legalities of things. And yeah, it sounds like you're dealing with the Freemasons if I've ever heard it.
yeah, it's definitely got the secret, you know what I'm saying, in the whatever. I don't
You
know what we can
said
say on here.
secret society. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway,
secret and then cults,
I think it's all the
and I
same shit. And that's another
it
thing
is.
too. I think that it's all this, they're all connected, right? The Illuminati, the Freemasons, the Eastern Stars, they all work together. They really do. It's like the Illuminati's more like celebrity life over here, but then when you need to get into the doctors, the police, the courtrooms, then they'll connect to them. And then when you need all the witchcraft done, they'll go to the Eastern Stars over here. You know what I mean? But they all work together.
They do. And it is so underground and so embedded. It's freaking insane. Absolutely insane. If I actually said all the things that God has shown me or showed me, like the world's not ready. The world's not ready. You know what I mean? I'm still not ready. I'm still processing a lot of it. And that's why it's slow and steady wins the race, right?
Agreed.
Until you're ready to fully articulate things in the magnitude that they need to be articulated, and that's something I'm working on too. It's like keeping inside, move in silence type deal. And that's something that I'm working on as well, where I'm not such a spitfire at the mouth because sometimes
I
I
was
can
like
get really
that too
passive.
for a long time. Just too
Yeah,
loud.
I'm super,
Too loud.
yeah, too aggressive. Like, pump the brakes, baby. Pump the brakes, Amanda. There's this will all come in due time, baby. You know what I
Because I
mean?
mean, they
And so
eat
it's just
everything. I have learned how meticulously they study our every move. To like our favorite shirts, to if you have a crystal on your necklace, what is it? To like somebody asked me one day what my favorite vape was. And I told them, and all of a sudden, they don't sell it anymore. I shit you not, dude. And this was
I.
recently. You can't find my favorite vape flavor anywhere around me.
Yep.
And it's
Golly.
a very popular why in the fuck would they quit selling that? My face wash, one day I was on Instagram live and somebody asked me what I used for my face. I'm like, oh, proactive, whatever. And then Amazon quit selling it. I couldn't get it anymore.
It's
It's like, dude,
it's
holy
freaking
shit.
insane. I know, and it's so sloppy because I mean, when things like that, like you just can't deny that. Although,
1111.
just a yep, strain of bad luck, as they say. Oh, look at that. Strain of bad luck or whatever. And it's like, no, nope, nope. It goes bigger than that. I really appreciate you bringing me on. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and allowing me to put my story out there. And I appreciate your support and your inspiration. You've helped me out so much. You really have. And just your story alone inspires me too. I think once you are awoken and you start walking in your purpose and you start connecting with your soul family, you inspire each other. Like just enough in
Yes.
your story by itself inspires me, right? And I'm sure you know what I mean. And so I wanted to just express my gratitude for you and the beautiful person that you are. I don't think a lot of people recognize how much you give to the collective community 24/7 all day. Every single day, you are there through thick and thin for so many people in the collective community going through targeting and, XYZ. And so I thank you very much. Like seriously, you've
Thank
saved me in a
you.
lot of ways. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm proud of you,
Yeah,
sis. I know it's been hard, but
uh,
you're on your way out. You are
I
so
got it.
on your way out and up, and I can't wait to see what you do in this world. You're gonna get
That's
everything you want and more. You're gonna be able to leave and go to the perfect location, the perfect place. It's all coming.
my
So just
my sorry. My goal this weekend is I'm working on my vision board. I'll show it. I'll take a picture of it when I get done. So
I
that's
love
my
that
little
for
fun.
you.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a break for a little bit. Kind of be in my zen for a
And
little
there's
bit. You know what I
nothing
mean?
wrong with that.
Because it gets
Absolutely
heavy.
nothing.
It gets heavy. I know you feel that. Spiritual warfare is no joke. I don't know why they don't talk about it. Well, I know why they don't talk about it. I know why they don't talk about spiritual warfare, why they don't talk about ego. Like it's all about the conditionings. But anyways, that's a whole nother video.
Right? I always said 144 too. I always said in school, why do they not teach about the law of attraction and manifestation in school?
I'm
The
saying,
power of positive thinking. Why are they not reading books like that in English class? You know what I
I
mean?
watched
It's
the
like
yeah,
all of
I
this
do.
needs to be fixed. The school system, the all of it. It all
I
needs to
had a
be redone and it's
mhm.
everybody's going to play their part in creating this and it's going to happen.
It 100% is. I had a conversation with a customer the other day in reference to law of attraction, right? Like if you and I and every individual out here knew what we knew to this day 20 years ago, and again, I don't live in regrets. Why? Because I've learned from everything. But we would already been done taking over the world. You know what I'm saying? Had we learned the concept of true mind over matter, the law of attraction, positive thinking, affirmations, loving yourself, being one with yourself, knowing that God is with you, Christ consciousness within you, right? We all knew this stuff, girl. We would have done already taken over the world. You know what I mean? But they
But
don't
no,
want
we
that
had
for
to
our
go through
kids.
traumas and all like an entire lifeline of it. But there is something powerful in this, Amanda, and that's
Hmm.
your son is going to take over your legacy. You cleared the path. So everything that you've
Yeah.
had to go through, he won't. He's not going to be targeted the way you've been targeted. He's not going to have to experience any of that. And while he has experienced so much trauma throughout this whole process or whatever, you're a healer. You're healing yourself. You are going to help your son heal early so he doesn't have to carry his trauma until he's 40, right? So
Right.
there's just so much power in it. And the reason
I needed that. Needed
that
that.
they use our kids, like I personally believed that they wanted my kids. That was a big thing for
Hmm.
them. They need to get rid of me, manipulate my kid's dad, and they wanted my kids. And on a spiritual level, like I don't think this was a conscious perspective, but subconsciously, they want my kids as divine energy and they wanted to turn them dark. It's exactly what they wanted with my kids.
Ooh, dang. Something just came to me when you said that. That reminds me of how much you're seeing right now in reference to CPS nationwide, where it comes to them taking families or taking children from families for no reason aside from the propaganda of it, making money on the back and this and that. And it just popped in my head when you were saying that. I'm like, that's what they do. It really is. Where they understand the mechanisms that if you create darkness and chaos in a child and their upbringing, that then is going to return a broken child going into a world and not be able to take over the world and fight the systematic ways, fight the different, like, we're literally, golly, I just made, oof, gonna have to unpack that download
Yeah,
later,
that's
because
powerful and so
that's
freaking deep. And God's just downloading it right into your brain. I
yeah,
had
gonna have
4
to swim
CPS
around.
calls in 2022. They called CPS on me 4 times. And by the grace of God and only because of God, they did not take my kids from me. I had 2 clients specifically, one a male and one a female, that have had their kids literally kidnapped from them. Illegally kidnapped, corrupt court systems, and they've been fighting to try and get their kids back. Their attorneys are being paid off, their own help to help them
Wow.
is team against, right? And then it's like you have to give the guidance, like you guys have to go to God. You're trying to find solutions outside of yourself when you don't need to. and it's been such a
Mhm.
process, but I couldn't imagine, dude. I couldn't even
I couldn't
imagine
either.
what that would be like. And
I
just the
couldn't
level of
imagine.
strength that I've seen in these two, Billy and Giovanna, I just got to shout them out, man, because
Yes.
it's
Seriously.
heartbreaking. It's so devastating. And their strength to just keep
Hearing
fighting and not give up.
hearing
But
stories like that hearing stories like that just remind me how minimal mine is. You know what
we
I'm
all
saying?
suffer in
It
our own way.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's
Exactly.
like I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a
Let
friend, Shelby. She's been going through this
Mhm.
for 22 years of hell, dude.
Dang it, cuz.
So yeah, it's like we all suffer to the point where it almost kills us. It's just the way that they choose to do it's a little bit different depending on what program you're thrown into.
And it just I just would like to know, like, how I mean, I know what I know, but it's like, why do they I mean, I know why they do. It's just evil. Like, why would you create a world that you say is based off a free nation when it's clearly not? When it dates back, that's now 20, 22 years, you said, for your friend in reference to targeting, right? Because they got some kind of genetic destiny, whatever, right? And they know that that person or you or me or our children or this and that have, like, a divinely orchestrated calling based on the gifts that we carry and God has set forth in front of us, right? But we all have that. We all have that. They just choose to allow greed, money, and power, but it's just
It's
mind-boggling
the
to me.
devil running rampant here. This is the devil's work. It's
It's just
the
crazy to
devil,
me.
dude. It's the devil.
It is. I freaking know. I can't tell you how many times that card comes out when I'm doing readings on me. Too much. I'm like, dang. I
Yeah.
know it's around me. But I'll tell you what, it feels good to be the light around the devil. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and shining
I
the
t-
light on the devil. And that's why they hate
mm-hmm.
you so much, man. You will
Yep.
bring demons out of everybody. When you're going through targeting, you can move and try and run away from it. And this shit is so deep and so
Mm-hmm.
complex. And they have people everywhere that if you run away and don't heal from it, it will just follow you. You can literally go to a restaurant somewhere. You don't know a single
Mm.
soul, and the person cooking your food can have some GHB in his pocket or some shit and really just put it in your food and fucking drug you or poison you in a restaurant, doesn't even know you, never seen your face, but because they're so low vibrational and the devil powers and principalities are what's attacking you, not people. It's
Mm-mm.
the powers and principalities that body hop and run, and they will work through whoever they can. And that's why they keep everybody conditioned in a low frequency. That's exactly why. So that the devil and the demons can use whoever they need to use to do whatever they need to do to stop God. It's that deep.
God, it
We don't
is.
fight against flesh and blood, we fight against powers and principalities.
Do you feel like the new earth, the changing, is something we're going to see in our lifetime, or is it going to be in our
Man,
children's?
I hope so. And I think that it's definitely possible. But if it doesn't get there with us, it's our kids.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Same.
But I know we are clearing the path and making the way, and then they're going to take over.
Yep, I agree. And I'm like, you know what? That's good enough for me. That is good enough for me, right? Because
Yes.
I have such a strong understanding that, like, it's not a matter of being vindicated. Vindicated for what? Vindicated for who? Nobody, right? Your vindication runs alongside God,
Yeah.
right? God vindicates you, right? And when you start walking in your purpose, you recognize that you're literally just being used as a vessel. It's good enough for me to fight the demons, fight childhood traumas, fight the generational curses, fight the systematic ways. I can pave the way for my son, your children, so on and so forth. And that's a good enough lifestyle for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was such a beautiful video that you did the other day talking about walking through poverty and stuff like that. Like, I shared it. It was a beautiful message. It was a really good message because I completely agree with you, and I don't even feel like I'm in poverty, like, I mean, I know that there's millions upon millions that can't eat, that don't have a roof, that, like, you know what I mean? So it's hard to say one is in poverty, but see, they've conditioned us for us to think that if you don't make XYZ, you don't fall in this tax bracket, then you're then in poverty or you're then in middle class, right? So that's then when people feel unworthy and stuff like that. But for me, it's like when you're in that moment of hardships, financial hardships, this and that or whatever, it's where you build your humility and your humbleness. That's God, that's going to carry you through and not
Yes.
only give you knowledge and wisdom for you to approach different scenarios when your abundance comes in, or not even when my abundance comes in my life. It may be my son's life, but at least I'm setting the path. You know what I mean? And so it's
Yeah.
raining here. I love it when it rains. I tell you
Yeah.
what.
Abundance
Hmm.
is just a mindset. And once you can
It
like
really is.
get into that mindset, it'll reflect back at you. Um,
Hmm.
and there's like Ashley and Alex. I invited you into Alex's live stream yesterday just to try and
Yeah, I started following him.
help get some views on his shit because
Hmm.
he can't get views over there either. It's bad. But
I
him
seen
and
that he keeps
Ashley
getting
live on a
banned.
bus and there's days that
Hmm.
they have to starve. They don't have money to eat. And then they go live on TikTok trying to, do reads, whatever they gotta do, sell copper jewelry. And it's hit or miss a lot for them. And they like are at that level where there's a hustle and a grind that's being so deeply developed, dude. It's like you have no choice but to figure it the fuck out, and you have to create ways that are outside of the box, right? Because if you keep doing the same thing and they're blocking the same way, you got to move different. And
Hmm.
that those two are what inspired me to make that video. And I remember with me, I didn't know how I was going to get my kids to school. My son had no pants that fit him. It's the dead of winter. I have not a penny. My gas light's on. My son doesn't have pants that fit him. I can't buy him new pants.
Hmm.
I'm on food stamps. I when they run out, dude, I'm at church things and food
Hmm.
pantries, and
Right.
it was fucking hell. Shut off notices for the power. I'm 5 months behind on my car payment. The only reason I didn't lose my car is God, you know? And
Yeah.
that
Same.
I was so hungry, dude. I was so hungry to leave and never go back. And I just
I know.
got to
I.
fucking work, dude.
Hmm. And I know for me, that's where I'm at right now in my season where it's like, okay, I'm learning every day gets easier and easier for me to walk through the different challenges that I walk through every day, right? In reference to whether it's monetary, tactics, games, whatever. Like it's getting easier and easier. Not only easier, but it's also getting easier for me to pick up on things like that. But I also do walk in divine timing. Like God has never not seen me through. All right. God
Yep.
has never not answered a prayer because I ask the right prayers. I pray the right things. It's never I never pray for self. I pray for everything outside of self. And so because I walk with such a strong faith and a strong knowing that God will, that like I know in due time when, you know, and I hate even saying abundance because I already feel like I'm living abundantly, you know? Like
And that's
what's the
perfect.
what's the you know what I mean? Like I just am so in love with who I've become. That coming from somebody that never absolutely loved themselves and freaking hated every bit of them because of the conditionings of the world to come to transform into somebody that truly loves themselves, that's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. Like that in itself is like such a blessing and a miracle. And so it's like you get to a place where it's just you look at things like that. You don't chase things, you recognize of all the beauty that lies within you, if that
And
makes
that's when
sense.
you attract in everything else, dude.
Mhm.
Oh, this is so beautiful to hear you speak.
Aw,
It
thank
is.
you. I
It's
love
so
you.
beautiful.
I love you. I get so
You know,
nervous,
when you're ready for your podcast, girl,
I
I
got
would
you. I know
listen to it. I can listen to you talk all day.
aw, really? Thanks. Sometimes I feel like I'm
Yes.
redundant. Sometimes I feel like I'm redundant. I'm like, "Oh, well, it is what it is."
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Aw, thanks. I appreciate it. I
Your
really
delivery
appreciate you
is a
giving.
masterpiece.
Is it? Oh, thanks. I needed that because I don't know. But I have to say, like, I do flow with stuff. I'm definitely a flow, like this little picture of me when I was a little girl, my grandma took.
Oh,
And I just think, I think when you just flow with who you are and, just embrace like your quirkiness, that it's easy.
you
But I
know,
do just,
that's oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I run so much on my heart. I run so much on my heart. I had this beautiful conversation with a coworker. Like, when you have such a pure heart, you just see things differently. You see things differently. You talk differently. You approach things differently. And it's just very easy for you to do that. It really is. I don't know how else to explain it. And so it's one of those things that I carry such an understanding with God because I'm like, dang, he's giving me a pure heart based off walking through HELL. Well, dang, that's a good enough thing for me as well. So I hold my heart at such a great platform because it's like that's a miracle in itself, right? And so it's really important. So, anyways, okay, I'm done.
It's so powerful. You are grateful for all you have, all it's good enough. And that's
Yeah,
it's like a kid. Like when you do something
11,
for your
11.
child and they don't appreciate it, or anybody for that matter, somebody you borrow somebody $100 when they need you more than ever and they don't even say fucking thank you,
Right.
right? It's like,
Exactly.
do you ever want to help them again if they don't appreciate anything you do?
Right.
How do
I
you
know.
think God feels when he blesses people? All your limbs work. You can take a hot shower. You know what I mean? And then it's like,
Right.
but you want to bitch about this? Why
Mhm.
would I give you anything else when you can't be grateful for what I'm already giving you? And then targeting will really teach you how to appreciate the little shit, dude. The littlest shit.
Mhm.
The littlest, tiniest shit means more to you than the average person because you know what it feels like to have everything stripped from you.
Yep. And
Everything
that's
is taken from you, and you gotta
everything.
learn how to appreciate what you do have.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
it goes so
And
deep. And then when you're
it
in
goes
that
so deep.
that place of appreciation and gratitude, that's how you manifest high
Mhm.
vibrational abundant things. That's exactly how it's done. And that's why all these demonic people have to manipulate for shit because they're not grateful for anything. They're never satisfied and they never have enough. They can have $2
No, I
million
know.
dollars but need to
And
sacrifice
it's still not
somebody
be
because they need 5 million more.
right. Right. I know.
They're
Could
not.
you imagine living that life?
No,
I couldn't either.
I
It's like
couldn't
I be
sacrifice somebody at my lowest point. I would never do something like that to somebody.
me neither. Me neither. But I'm just saying in reference to like understanding the magnitude of just the soullessness that one has to be at to do such things. I give so much grace and gratitude because I have a soul, right?
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the soulless because I couldn't fathom that. I couldn't fathom that. And that's a really sad place to be living on a beautiful earth. I mean, they say heaven on earth. God literally shows you how to bring heaven on earth. Could you imagine living on heaven? And heaven essentially is what we can create here. You can create heaven on earth, but you're choosing to do it without a soul. That's hell on earth, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people here that like sold their souls lifetimes ago and they've just been running here for the devil ever since.
Mhm.
You know, it's like
I
reincarnating
know,
over and
that's
over and
right.
over again as freaking demons.
It goes back to the 1800s as far as I've dated back with connections, 100%. How far back it goes. And even thereafter, I mean, this has been an ongoing thing for sure. Yeah. But I got to run on.
Yeah, we've
Oh,
been
that
on
was
here
nice. Go
forever.
Hoover. I know. Thank you. Go Hoover. That's really nice.
All right,
I have such
before
a
you
hard
go, I want to
Okay.
close.
All right. Let's.
This is just a deck by Ashley, and there's some good shit in here. So I pulled for you. Okay, say
Okay.
this to yourself. And it's crazy because you just showed me that picture of you when you were little. So
Mhm.
this is aligned, okay? Dear
Okay.
little me, you took on so much that was never yours to carry. We can set it down now whenever you are ready.
Aw,
Love me. To
I love
endure,
that.
to endure is to evolve. Your wounds tell your
Mm,
story, but your scars do not define you. Only you can do that. Your anger
yeah.
is the part of you that knows mistreatment and abuse are unacceptable. Your anger knows you deserve to be treated well and with kindness. Your anger is a part of you that loves you.
Yeah. Finding that dark and light when it comes to your emotions, like rage and anger, that's all a part of it. A lot of people run from that, but you have to embrace it. You know, you can't run from your emotion. You can't run from anger, especially when, mistreatment is involved in it, and so many people run from it. And a lot of it's based off childhood wounds because we're conditioned to run from it, right? Because
Right.
everybody's supposed to mask everything. And so I love that first one, though. You're going to have to like take a picture and send that to me if you can, or put it
Uh,
up on, yeah,
you do not
yeah,
owe your side of the story to anyone. It is
no.
not your responsibility to correct any misconceptions or validate any rumor. That has your name.
I need to get that deck.
Yeah, it's on TikTok, I think.
Okay.
The emotional reaction, the card came out. The emotional reaction that emerges in another person's body from you speaking your truth is their responsibility to deal with, not yours.
The sun just came out.
Shit. Sometimes we have to give
Thanks.
it a go without a solid support system. Just you, the universe, and a vision only you can see. That's still enough. Carry on. And then forgive yourself for the relationships and friendships that you settled for when you weren't in your power.
Oh,
Don't go backwards into habits and situations that were not helping you evolve. Stay consistent with forward movement and positive changes. And that's
I like
kind of
that.
crazy. I want to close out with this and then you can say whatever, but it's almost like how you left that first property management job and then went
Mhm,
into another one. It was
mhm.
kind of God showing you like you didn't evolve at this last one and now you're going back into a very similar situation and you're not going to evolve here either. He was just he
Right,
needed you to really see that that's not where you're meant to be type of thing. But
right.
anyway,
You're in this it's not where you're aligned.
right.
It's very, very, very easy for me now to pick up what's aligned to me, who's aligned to me, you know what I mean? And it was 100% God showing me. I understand the legalities of the world. I understand the conditionings of the world when it comes to the business front and the aspects of it. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself what's aligned with you, right? Some people, it's an amazing career field for them. For me, it wasn't, right? And so it's okay. And so many people get fluffered, right? And it's like we all need to be able to walk in truth and walk in what we're aligned with and not be questioned for that, not be judged for that, not be thrown swords and cast stones. And it's just not what they're conditioned for, what they're conditioning for us. But God's here flipping tables. He is indeed.
Well, thank you for
I
coming out.
appreciate you.
I appreciate
Thank
you.
you. I appreciate you. Love you.
Love you.
Take
Holler if you need
care.
me.
Okay, I will. Take
All
care,
right.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye,
All
beautiful.
right, bye. Bye.
Guys. Okay, I'm gonna just close this out here, but all of Amanda's information is linked in the description if you want to check out her social media platforms, support her, give her a follow, and tune more into her story. I love you guys so much. I will be back soon with another interview, and we'll be on for the Targeted Experience episode 9 on Monday. I do believe we are going to have another guest joining us for that. And yeah, I'll be on for a collective message this weekend as well. Okay. I love you guys so freaking much. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.